What's up, guys? That Really Gross Guy here, starting in with part 3 of my Warframe themes, and let's get right into it. This is my Necros. I kind of had him set up for like a Halloween type feel. I got the red and green, which kind of in a way is more Christmassy, but I also do have the scythe on him, so you can use that spearmint scythe skin, which allows him to use the candy cane. I will show you guys that here in a minute. But let's get right into it. Necros sporting the Dragoon, the Alex, and the Ether Reaper. I think actually I got this Warframe pretty much as soon as it came out. I went out farming for it, and it took me a little while, but I went out and I got it, and I think I actually, from what I can recall, I think he's using all the weapons that he actually got released with. Maybe not the Alex, but I'm pretty sure the Dragoon and the Ether Reaper were kind of debuted with Necros. But like I said, I got him in these sweet color scheme with the green and stuff as well. And he looks pretty cool. He's a little bit, I don't know, kind of fun. But there's the Spearmint Scythe itself, and then if we go over to the copy Warframe colors, you get that mint green spearmint flavor color-ish, whatever. But yeah, and then we flip on back, and there you have it. That is Necros. Pretty cool. But yeah. So next up, alphabetically, of course, is Neja, and he, of course, as a male Warframe, is pretty dope. I don't necessarily have him set up with like the best of weapons, mostly because I use the herb or his oh my god, his abilities all the time, and he is great for traversal. Can get around very quickly, and with the maglev property that is already kind of built in, very fast and fun frame to use, especially with the one ability that allows him to throw the chakram and teleport to it. Is pretty sweet. It allows you to get to places real quick, really fast, and do damage in the process. But I do have him with the Rubico, which is the revolver style sniper rifle, which doesn't really follow the type of running gun that I kind of was going for, but it kind of came out with them, and I kind of just went with it. It's still fun to use. And then the Exani, which have been out for a little while, I think since Mirage, but that's kind of the running gun feel I was kind of going for. Really fun to just run in, dual wielding, and just go into town. And lastly, he's set up with the Bow Prime, and that's kind of just to give him a little bit more of a feel, and kind of allows for the nice sweeping like maglev slides and stuff like that. So kind of just kind of a traversal thing, and pretty fun. It's just a fun build. And following Neja, we have Nova, and Nova's a pretty fun Warframe. Of course, Nova Prime, which you will see here in a second, is like the prime frame to have. But the regular Nova is still pretty good. I have her set up as kind of another like energy type. She has the Flux Rifle, which it goes really well with the antimatter drop. That also can go well with the Cyanoid Gamma Core, which you'll see on my Nova Prime. But that allows you to put a lot of damage into the antimatter drop and have it do some crazy damage when it explodes. But also running the Axtiletto in the Kogaki, and that's kind of just because she kind of is another running gun frame for me, at least. I kind of just rush into rooms and shoot the nearest target. Especially the Flux Rifle, you can kind of go in with it drawn, and you got a straight beam going to town on the first enemy you can see. And then the Kogaki are just really fun with its knockdown ability for the it's like the sliding attack, I believe, which she flips and kicks the dude, knocks him off his feet. That's pretty cool. Definitely a fun ragdoll effect. But yeah, she can just do a lot of damage. Pretty fun, and this is actually what frame I use with my Odinata, just because the styling, I feel, fits it very well. Alright, and like I said, Nova Prime coming right up, and here she is in all her glory, giving you a little kiss, and this is probably everybody's favorite Prime Warframe. Like 90% of everybody is like, Nova Prime, the best, and I agree and disagree. She definitely has her perks, and she is incredibly powerful. But I believe every Prime in its own right is kind of the best. You know what I mean? But just with that aside, I kind of have Nova Prime, which you guys may have seen in my other videos. But she's rocking the Paris Prime for that damage, those one-shot kills, and the Cyanoid Gamma Core and the Dragon Arcana. Of course, like I said earlier, that Cyanoid Gamma Core can do some damage with that antimatter drop, create some huge explosions and lots of kills. But here is a red and black, almost stalker feel for her that I definitely think is pretty cool, and I kind of have it in a green, and that's just because I threw on New Loca so I could get some ranks up with her. I've had her in pink versions and blue versions and all sorts of different ones, but it's really great, especially with this skin on her. I tend not to do too much changing when it comes to Prime Warframes, but because she came out as a dark Warframe, I did want to change her to the white and gold, and of course with that skin just makes her look so phenomenal. So yeah, one of my most used frames right here. Alright, so here we are, and this Nyx right here got me through a lot of tough spots as an early player. Of course, I've been around for quite a long time in the Warframe world, and I got her way back in the day when she was pretty much was available, one of the starter frames. And I started out with Excalibur and moved on to like Rhino and whatnot. But just some missions, I couldn't quite, get through it doing some solo missions. And Nyx brought a whole new gameplay experience for me personally, with her ability to mind control and chaos, and also and her fourth ability being able to like stop all incoming damage. She is just so good. But she is set up in kind of another energy theme, where she's got the cool cosmetics on her side that look very energetic, we'll just call it. Rocking the Supra, because who wants tons of bullets coming at or shooting towards other enemies? I mean, that's got to be pretty cool, especially because it is the like energy type weapon. Haikus, just because they're just really cool, and I love chucking those at enemies. And then the dual Zorans with the dagger skin is just pretty sweet. I absolutely love them on this Nyx right here. And definitely the color scheme, the gray and orange, just, I don't know, it matches, especially with all the weapons. So of course, because I really enjoyed my Nyx, I absolutely loved Nyx Prime when she came out. And with the scheme I have going here, the color scheme with the white and gold, and just her helmet is just phenomenal. But she definitely can hold her own in pretty much anything, and I mean like sorties, tier 4s, anything. She is so good. But here we are with her holding on to that Orthos Prime, which is deadly. She also rocks another new core, like my Limbo has, except mine is white and gold, because Prime. And she's using a green, like a puke green energy color, and that goes throughout for all the weapons and whatnot, and the Breton Prime. What I'm also doing is I have a radiation proc on every one of my weapons, and of course her abilities, being able to mind control and all that stuff, quite literally allows me to go into battle and force everything to basically fight each other. Even if I'm out of energy or whatever, with the high status chances, I can pretty much put radiation procs on anything I want, and ultimately everything will basically focus on each other, and I'll be free to just mop up the enemies left and right. So here we are with my Oberon, and I honestly think the color scheme is just so cool. I still kind of set him up as a paladin type, but kind of a, not necessarily like green, like everyone has Oberon as like a green foresty type paladin. I kind of have him as like a, almost like a royal guard. Definitely set up really cool, and still rocking the new Loka because, you know, green is still good. But yeah, he's kind of a early to mid game build. I didn't necessarily take Oberon into like the end game and try to build him as an end game Warframe, just because I like going into, you know, 20 to 30 level missions and kind of taking it seriously, kind of getting away from the huge grind of the game and kind of just have some fun. And that's why I have him set up with the Hind, which is a 3-burst weapon, which is not very powerful, but, you know, kind of holds on to the controlled and discipline of like the paladin feel. Also rocking the Bolto, the single shot, but also, you know, with the puncture, almost like kind of sticking it to the man when it comes to like, you're gonna be an evil dude. I'm a paladin, so I'm gonna have to put a stake in, you know, right through you. And then the bow, of course, being a very disciplined weapon, not something that's necessarily lethal, which can be lethal, but kind of just set up to be an all-around, like I said, Royal Guard. Definitely fun to play with, even though it's not necessarily built for high damage output. And here we are with Rhino, my second Warframe that I ever got, and that's most people's second Warframe they get because he's pretty much the first one you can actually go get parts for. But oh man, the white and blue on this Rhino looks so good, so clean, so just But anyways, he's rocking the Necros animation because he's brutal, and on that note, he's running the Strun and the Ak Bronco because shotguns to the face. He was basically just an in-your-face run-and gun kind of Rhino. Because he's slow, you know, he's not necessarily built for speed, but he's definitely a tank, and you can just walk into a room and just go ham with the shotguns, pretty much one-shotting at least most early to mid-game enemies, because that's when I originally got him, and he was my most used frame for a very long time. And then of course Rhino Prime came out, and then Nyx and all that stuff. Oh, everything took over, and I used pretty much every frame, just about the same amount, other than maybe a couple of my tryhards going for sorties and whatnot. But yeah, sweet color scheme. The Sindo is another just in your face, like a wreck your face kind of weapon. So very fun and very tanky. So here we are with a second Rhino build, and this is kind of a it's kind of similar. It's still a tank build. It's just built differently, not necessarily meant to get all up in your face, but can if he really wants to. But this Rhino is, of course, sitting with the red and black, which a lot of people tend to use on their frames. But yeah, I have him set up too with kind of a different cosmetic setup. Kind of alternates, and I'll show you why here in a second. But he's using the Opticore because explosions and awesomeness. But if we go into attachments, yeah, I ended up doing that because that one shoulder guard, I don't know if they changed the way the color schemes are on these way back in the past, because it's been a long time since I've used this Rhino specifically, and I guess I've been sporting the regular helmet. But yeah, I wanted to see if anything was better would look better. But anyways, you can pretty much ignore the Vasto because I believe I must have sold whatever I was using. I went through my weapon list and I was like trying to remember what I used. But there it is, just because I figured I'd show it with the Day of the Dead skin. And then I had the Silva and Aegis on here because he can still get in your face and still do a lot of damage. Definitely a lot of fun. And that shoulder guard is clipping like crazy. And I can't even see the other shoulder guard. What is going on, Warframe? But anyways, I'll kind of show you why I have the arm guard set up the way I do. If you can see, his left arm is kind of set up to be like an entire shield. all the way up from the shoulder guard down to the shield itself. It's kind of set up so that that's kind of the side he keeps facing his enemy and maybe rushes at him, and obviously uses his other hand to either acquire his target and take him down, or to pull the blade out and just go to town on the enemy. But especially with the animation, he's kind of always front facing like that, and yeah, it just kind of aesthetically looks good. And then the back arm just kind of being still a little bit armor plated, but more of an agile armor plate, so that it has the rotation it needs. So yeah, a little bit more thought through than some of the other Warframes, but definitely fun, definitely a pretty cool build. Alright, so here we are with our first Rhino Prime build, and that means I do have two different Rhino Prime builds, and there's not too much to say about this one. This one was my really early game. I think this was my first Prime Warframe, and he was basically just meant to be a tank. I would just go into the Void and either solo missions and just, buff up his vitality and do as much damage output as I could. At least at the time where, there wasn't the Soma Prime, and a lot of things were not necessarily as OP as they are now. But yeah, he's pretty fun, pretty cool. Definitely can hold his own for sure, especially solo. But not necessarily endgame. Probably would have a little bit of a tough time running sorties solo or doing T4 solo. But definitely a very powerful mid-game Warframe. And here we are. So this is pretty much the reason why my other Rhino Prime I didn't pour as much Forma into, or mod capacity into and whatnot, because I just had this idea, and I've been wanting to build this Rhino Prime up for a long time. I kind of just acquired everything I wanted, and I'm going to be working on him here shortly in the future, but you have to admit how awesome this Rhino looks. I mean, he looks so intimidating, and he is sporting some of the best weapons in the game. That's basically because I designed him to quite literally be as much of a tank, with setup with rage and max vitality, max redirections, max vigor, just literally pumping up everything I can, ignoring all of his abilities except for Iron Skin, so that I can absolutely max out on his survivability. And then on top of that, using a Soma Prime, which is so good, the Twin Grakatas, which are so good, and the Dex Dakras, which are so good. I mean, this frame is so fun, so much fun. But yeah, I have him set up just like this. He looks incredible, and he is so fun to play. Alright, so here we are getting into Saren, and I never really jumped on the Saren hype train. I knew she was really good. I don't know. She looks great. To be honest, she looks amazing. But yeah, I never really jumped on it, because I kind of got her later than I really hoped to. But I had so many frames at that point that I kind of just kept her by the wayside. And I'm definitely going to, especially with the Prime now out, I'm going to spend some time with her and trying to enjoy her. And I mean, everyone else loves her, so I'm sure I will too. But I kind of have her set up with the Miter, the Tysus, and the Skoliak. I kind of have her set up as like an infested exterminator, I guess. The Miter being able to just hack limbs off, just so cool. And then the Tysus being like a poison-based, infested weapon, being really lethal. It's almost like she embraces the infested feel, but she also is like disgusted with the infested. I don't know. It's definitely a cool feel. The colors, the poisonous green and the purples, the toxic looking color, she just looks phenomenal, especially with the with that skin on her. But yeah, and the Skoliak whip, just kind of, you get that gross feel, but just lethal feel, and she's so cool. Definitely a cool frame. Alright guys, so basically I'm gonna leave you here with a sneak peek at the next frame on the next video. It'll be part 4, and this will finish off at least the Warframes I have at the moment. I didn't really do a Saren Prime build because I'm still kind of figuring out what I want to do with her, weapons-wise and all that stuff. But yeah, I hope you guys liked the video. If you did, please thumbs up, and if you want to subscribe to see some more stuff and plenty of other variety of games, subscribe. Hope to see you guys again soon.